What's up, everybody? So yeah, so it's finally here is the final of JTVideos Rebooted MCU Saga 2. Yeah, it was the end of the Mutant and the Galaxy Saga. Yeah, so it's gonna be to see how many portraits I can remember you guys. Maybe last video I mentioned is let's see how many. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 portraits over together to in that video here. So take a listen to that video, but I can read it here. Here, so but the last video is about talking about we've been talking about in the last video about the last video about yesterday. I'm very long video. I'm very sorry it was very long, but it's supposed to be not very long. But I don't know how does that happen. I can't remember how does that happen, because my last Wonder Man was 55 minutes. I think I'll check right now. I'll check my phone to see when it was. How long was 55 minutes and 39 seconds, yeah. So yeah, that's that. So hopefully this video is not gonna be the longest video, so yeah, because that video will be 30 minutes and 30 seconds, yeah. So I can't really go and watch this, but I watch all the time because my favorite JJ video maybe MCU is Avengers the Common Glances. So yeah, I'm not very interested about Avengers the Common Glances. And shout out to him JJ video. My favorite project is Avengers Endgame. Avengers Flame War and Avengers Endgame and the Fantastic Four, Lion Humans and then Avengers the Common Glances. Yeah. Damn, hold on. So what you guys we want me doing what my favorite project over the video. So yeah, comment below. So yeah. So enough that talk. So next reaction.
Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome back to Rebooted MCU. Today we are here with Rebooted MCU Phase 6. Well, the rest of Phase 6. So, let me talk about how we found ourselves here today. Look, I'm gonna cut to the chase and say that my passion for writing 20-page plus scripts and editing nearly hour-long projects has hit rock bottom. I love Marvel and Rebooted MCU, but the time it takes to complete each project is just too much to continue doing what I have been doing with the series. I've also moved on to other passions of mine like Dragon Ball, One Piece, and one-off MCU movie pitches. While I was originally going to save concluding Rebooted MCU for the end of my channel, I think the best way to move forward is to end it now. Not only for the satisfaction of you all as fans, but also for myself. I want to tell the story, give you all closure on what happens, and give myself closure as well, and move on with my channel, and hopefully you will all stick around. I know my content is changing a bit, but Marvel will still be at the heart of my content, so stick around for more if you still enjoy Marvel and you want to see me talk about Marvel and cover Marvel-related topics. I also know that Rebooted MCU is not everyone's cup of tea, and honestly, I really don't care. This is my universe, my story, and my ideas, and I refuse to bend a knee to anybody. But I do want to encourage you all to make your own stories. Writing has been very therapeutic for me, helping me relieve stress and share my passion with people. So if you love Rebooted MCU, or heck, if you hate Rebooted MCU, I want to encourage you all to make up your own stories, have fun, because that's what writing is all about. Okay, now that we are done with major housekeeping, I'm going to give you the plot overviews of the remaining projects in Phase 6. I'm going to hit all the big stuff in these videos, so hopefully you will get the best grasp of the story possible. If you want to see what started off Phase 6, you can check out Fantastic Four, Warning of the Silver Surfer, Wonder Man, and Doctor Strange Broken Reality on my channel. We will not have time to cover...
We don't know the name, yes.
them here
I
today.
did the last video was a Dr. Steinberg reality was 58 minutes and 51 minutes, 51 seconds. Yes, but it doesn't mean it was the longest video. My video was the longest without any reaction, right? But that video was a 58 minutes and 51 seconds. I don't know why. Just forget about that.
So go watch those before watching this. Anyways, let's jump into Phase 6, Part 4. Phase 6, Part 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it takes place in 2028. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 opens up with a flashback to young Peter Quill being saved by a group known as the Ravagers, whose members consist of Starhawk, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Yondu, played by Michael Rooker, Charlie 27, played by Ving Rhames, and Martin X, played by Michael Rosenbaum. After this brief flashback, we see the Guardians of the Galaxy back in present day, whose members consist of Star-Lord, played by Chris Pratt, Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, Drax, played by Dave Bautista, Groot, played by Vin Diesel, Rocket, played by Bradley Cooper, Bug, played by Paul Dano, and Nebula, played by Karen Gillan. They have been a force for good around the galaxy and have even managed to rebuild Xandar and live on it peacefully with the rescued creations of the High Evolutionary. Everything appears to be going well when a mysterious man visits Xandar. His name is Jason, played by Christopher Walken, the former leader of Spartax, who claims to be Peter's father. While Peter is in disbelief, claiming his only memories of his father were negative, Jason claims that he was captured by Yondu as a kid and his mind was filled with lies about him. In order to reconnect with his son, Jason invites Peter and his friends to his new base of operation, because the former inhabitants of Spartax would love to meet the heroes of the galaxy. Peter reluctantly agrees and is accompanied by Gamora, Rocket, Groot, and Bug. Nebula and Drax stay back on Xandar and aid Lila the Otter, played by Lady Gaga, with various tasks around the city. Jason transports Peter and his friends to the planet Ego, which the group discovers is a living being who is capable of manifesting a physical form, played by Dennis Quaid, and meets the group. This is where we are introduced to Mantis, played by Palm Clementia, a creature found by Jason on his travels whose power aids Ego by allowing him to sleep at night. Bug instantly falls in love with Mantis, but this love is not reciprocated. Peter and Jason reconnect, and Peter learns that Jason is now a philanthropic man who seeks to support struggling planets around the galaxy, which Peter believes. As all this is going down, Rocket and Groot attempt to help Bug make a move on Mantis, but in the process, Mantis reveals a deep secret about Ego, and uses her powers to show Bug memories she has stored from Ego. Ego is a half-celestial who works under the control of Galactus. Galactus instructed Ego to allow an associate of his to work on Ego's planet and receive weapons manufactured by Jason for an upcoming conquest. Galactus is much more powerful than Ego, so he complies with every request Galactus makes. Upon this revelation, Rocket, Groot, Bug, and Mantis travel to the other side of Ego, where they discover military exercises being conducted by Annihilus, played by Andy Serkis, and the soldiers that make up the Annihilation Wave. Rocket and the others are discovered by Annihilus and are chased back to the main hub of Ego, where they encounter Peter and Jason. Jason's true nature is revealed to Peter, as Jason is a former arms dealer who sent weapons to various criminal organizations around the universe for profit, and wanted Peter to be the next head of his criminal empire. Shocked by this revelation, Peter disavows his father and claims that he and the Guardians of the Galaxy will bring them to justice. Unfortunately, Annihilus intervenes and proves to be too powerful for Peter, Gamora, Rocket, Bug, Groot, and Mantis to handle. Thankfully, a familiar face has been stealthily watching the group this entire time, as Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter, intervenes and saves the group. This leads to an all-out brawl with Adam Warlock fighting Annihilus, while Peter and his group take on the members of the Spartax fleet and the Annihilation Wave. Proving to be too much for the group to handle, we see Peter and his group, this time with both Mantis and Adam tagging along, make a daring escape from Ego, but not before managing to destroy the weapons manufacturing plant ran by Jason. In the end, Galactus, played by Liam Neeson, is informed of Ego's failure and the high volume of soldiers lost in the conflict. Enraged, we see why Galactus holds the title of World Eater, as he devours Ego, killing him and Jason, while also reassigning Annihilus and the Annihilation Wave to a new location. In the end, Adam Warlock and Mantis become new members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Peter learns to not only accept his past with both Jason and Yondu, but also grows in his love for his found family, the Guardians of the galaxy. In the first post-credit scene, we see the High Evolutionary, played by Chuck Udiawuji, donning a new suit and working on creating a large number of man-beasts. And in the second, we see Captain Marvel, played by Natalie Dormer, and Photon, played by Tiana Paris, pick up a large spike in cosmic energy, sensing that a planet was destroyed. Hey guys, post-recording JT here. As you probably noticed, I completely forgot about Nova. So he's still on the team. Yes, he is in the movie, and he really just stays back with Drax and Nebula and helps out Lila, and really doesn't take part much in the story. Hence why I overlooked him. Anyways, let's move on to the next project. Phase 6, Part 5 is Captain America Man Out of Time, and it takes place in Universe 2028. The movie...
How could you say that Captain America Man Out of Time was maybe my favorite portrait? But I'm not sure about that, so yeah.
What's up with Anaconda, played by Gwendoline Christie, looking around Camp Lehigh, following some leads she obtained from underground informants. After rummaging around some abandoned military buildings, Anaconda activates a computer that is revealed to house the consciousness of Arnim Zola, played by Toby Jones. Zola explains that during World War II, his brain was stored digitally thanks to the work of Howard Stark and Graham Tolson. Zola transfers his consciousness to a mechanical body and begins downloading information about all that has happened in the world since he was deactivated. Upon learning of the ultimate destruction of Hydra at the hands of Black Widow, Zola announces his intention to destroy the world by attempting to start a new world war. But in order to do this, he'll need to gather as many allies as he can and also find someone who is as destructive as him. Anaconda is intrigued by the idea, especially after Zola notes that he will seek the aid of a former top Hydra killer, Agent Rumlow. As all this is going down, we see Captain America, played by Chris Evans, Bucky Barnes, played by Sebastian Stan, and Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, take down the evil Cutthroat, played by Gray Damon, and protect the streets of New York, showing that Cap and the gang have slowly gotten back into the swing of things after the war with Wakanda. As the group returns to Avengers HQ, the group gets a call from S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Maria Hill, played by Colby Smulders, who informs the group that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s database was hacked a few days ago, and even worse, the unknown hacker viewed files related to MODOK, who President Ross ordered to be transported from the raft to the cube. Because of this, Hill asks the group to aid in the transport of MODOK in the event that something goes awry, to which Cap agrees. On the day of the transport, we see various S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, including Daisy Johnson, played by Chloe Bennett, Ava Starr, played by Hannah John Kamen, Agent Bukowski, played by Steve A.G., and Agent Muldowney, played by Billy Harris. As the transport is about to happen, a group of unknown assailants attack the facility and break MODOK out. Despite the efforts of Cap and his group, their attempts to prevent the escape are thwarted thanks to a powerful new foe donning a skeleton helmet. During the attack, Agent Bukowski was killed and Cap is put on notice that a conspiracy is underway. MODOK meets with Arnim Zola and the two discuss their past roles and how their dreams and ambitions were crushed in some form by the intervention of do-gooders, with MODOK agreeing to aid Zola in destroying the world and rebuilding it based on their own desires. Following the attack, Cap is forced to call Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo, and finally commits to reassembling the Avengers. After being brought up to speed on who is available and being told that both Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel are currently unavailable, Hulk agrees to help Cap get some new members for the team. However, the stakes are raised even higher as Cap is notified that Arnim Zola and his forces, including the last few remaining loyalists of Hydra and AIM, have infiltrated the Pentagon and plan on launching nuclear weapons in hopes of causing global chaos. Hours later, we see Captain America lead the New Avengers into the Pentagon with the goal of stopping the attack. The New Avengers lineup includes Captain America, Bucky Barnes, Falcon, Hulk, She-Hulk, played by Tatiana Maslany, Hercules, played by Brett Goldstein, the Mighty Thor, played by Natalie Portman, and Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland. In the process, Bucky fights and defeats Anaconda, Falcon defeats MODOK, and Cap successfully defeats both Crossbones and Arnim Zola, preventing a nuclear catastrophe. Following the battle, Cap is interviewed outside the Pentagon by Billy Walters, played by Adam Colborn, and tells the world that the Avengers are back. In the first post-credit scene, we see Cap contemplating passing the mantle of Captain America to someone new as he watches Bucky and Sam spar. And in the second, we see Vice President Valentino Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Chief of Staff Sharon Carter, played by Emily Van Camp, sitting in a dark room with Richard Blaine, played by Michael Kelly, as you see his employee bring in a dead cryptid. The cryptid in question is revealed to be Manphibian, and the employee in question is revealed to be Raul Bushman, played by Trevante Rhodes. Phase 6, Part 6 is Deadpool 2, and it takes place in Universe 2029. The project opens up with Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, enjoying a meal with Vanessa, played by Maria Baccarin, when they are interrupted by Hank McCoy, aka Beast, played by John Boyega, who is sent to gather Wade for a special mission. Upon arriving at the X-Mansion after being driven by Dopender, played by Karan Soni, Deadpool is briefed about his mission by Professor Charles Xavier, played by Giancarlo Esposito. Deadpool's mission is to bring Angel back to the X-Mansion, as he has been missing since the end of X-Men Apocalypse, but a reliable informant has revealed that Angel is currently being held by an organization known as Oyama Heavy Metal Industries, an underground crime syndicate who are known for experimenting with mutants. Deadpool accepts the mission and seeks to have an all-star lineup of mutants aid him on his mission. His requests include heavy hitters like Wolverine and Cyclops. Unfortunately, all of those are unavailable, so Deadpool is stuck with Colossus, voiced by Stefan Kapikic, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, played by Brianna Hildebrand, Nightcrawler, played by Rami Malek, and Domino, played by Zazie Beetz, a group that Deadpool names X-Force. Using the Thunderbird, the group enters a Oyama heavy metal laboratory in New Jersey, where they discover a list of mutants being experimented on and studied for the Magia. As it turns out, Oyama is headed by one of the 4 crime lords of the Magia, Lady Deathstrike, played by Lucy Liu, and the mutants' DNA have been studied for an unknown purpose by scientist Kenneth Sturdy, played by
New Corsadil Gum Strengthen and Protect with Hyaluronic Acid. Corsadil, gum experts. Heroes like Lisa.
played by Jim Howick. When the group manages to find Angel, played by Brandon Perea, he resists the group's efforts to rejoin the X-Men, and he is transported to a different laboratory by Deathstrike. While Colossus and Negasonic are able to follow Angel as he's being transported, Deadpool, Nightcrawler, and Domino are stuck dealing with a new threat, Sabretooth, played by Alexander Ludwig, one of the mutants being experimented on by Sturdy. The trio manages to defeat Sabretooth, and using a tracking device given to Wade by Colossus, call on Dopender to transport the group to the second laboratory. Unfortunately, the second laboratory is being guarded by Psylocke, played by Gemma Chan. But fortunately for the group, Domino's luck allows them to gain entry to the lab, despite Deadpool being firm in his belief that Domino's power is not real. Once inside the lab, Deadpool is separated from the group and discovers 2 other powerhouses being controlled by Oyama, the extremely powerful Juggernaut, played by Robert Malliot, and the informant who fed the X-Men information, Mystique, played by Ana de Armas. Unfortunately, Lady Deathstrike learns of the group's attempt to intercept Angel and instructs all mutants to attack X-Force. During the fighting, Deadpool talks with Angel and encourages him to return to Charles, saying that he can tell that Charles really cares about his well-being. When all hope seems lost, Angel returns to the group, allowing the X-Men to escape and leaving Deadpool to face off against Lady Deathstrike. In the end, Deadpool kills Lady Deathstrike and the battle leaves the entire laboratory destroyed. Deadpool reunites with both Vanessa and Dopender at a local McDonald's, reveals that not only did Angel return to the X-Men, but Sabretooth, Psylocke, and Juggernaut escaped and went on their own adventures, which will be revealed at a later date. The project ends with Deadpool asking if his performance in this installment managed to get his 4th project greenlit. In the first post-credit scene, we see 2 mysterious figures enter the destroyed laboratory to see Dr. Sturdy. The first figure is revealed to be Lucino Nefaria, aka Count Nefaria, played by Justin Baldoni, the leader of the Magia. As it turns out, Sturdy was attempting to use the X gene to replicate the ionic compound created by Sanford Williams. But thankfully, Nefaria is no longer in need of Sturdy's help, as Ginger Beach, played by Mimi Keen, is revealed to be an undercover Magia agent, and recovered the remaining 50% of the ionic compound from Grim Reaper's dead body in Wonder Man. And in the second post-credit scene, Deadpool breaks the 4th wall to call out Squirrel Girl before he is attacked by a swarm of squirrels. Phase 6, Part 7 is Moon Knight, Men of the Night, and it takes place in Universe 2029. This project follows the exploits of Moon Knight, played by Oscar Isaac, and his various personalities as they adjust to his return to New York following the events of X-Men Apocalypse. Stephen Grant has reunited with his girlfriend Marlene Allerine, played by Saoirse Ronan, and returns to running his business, Spectre Corp, alongside Marlene and Donna Kraft, played by Maddie Phillips. Jake Lockley has learned English and works as a taxi driver in his spare time. Mark Spector has reunited with his old friend from the CIA, Frenchie, played by Tomer Capone, with the 2 often dining at Gina's Diner, where they talk about the criminal underworld with the diner's owner, Gina Landers, played by Yvette Nicole Brown. In spite of Frenchie's constant pressure, Mark has decided to take a step back from acting in the role of Moon Knight. That is, until the news reveals that 2 unknown cryptids have been making their way throughout the United States and are likely to end up in New York within the week. The news has caused so much panic that New York Mayor Luke Cage has decided to issue a curfew in order to ensure citizens' safety. Following some convincing from Khonshu, voiced by F. Murray Abraham, and in spite of Steven's hatred of Moon Knight, Mark decides to face the beast head-on when it arrives in New York. When the fateful day arrives, Mark encounters a man known as Jack Russell, played by Gael Garcia Bernal, who is traveling across the United States with a large cryptid of sorts and a woman holding a red gemstone. Before Mark can find out any more information, Jack undergoes a shocking transformation, turning into a werewolf after looking at the full moon. Mark and Jake engage in a massive fight with the werewolf, with the duo fighting throughout downtown New York. Their fight is stopped, however, when an unknown man knocks out both combatants and takes the cryptid away for himself. When the group reawakens, it is revealed that they were rescued by Frenchie, and Mark is able to learn more information about the trio. The woman is revealed to be Elsa Bloodstone, played by Laura Donnelly, with the creature in question being known as the Man-Thing, voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who holds the title of Guardian of the Nexus of All Realities. Elsa was hoping to protect Man-Thing as he recently gained the title of Guardian of All Realities, and also hoped to add him to a team she is building. Elsa's father, Ulysses Bloodstone, was a famed monster hunter, but was killed by a creature she calls the King of the Vampires. In spite of their duel the night before, Jack and Mark agree to team up in order to save Man-Thing. Behind the scenes, Man-Thing has been targeted by Vice President Valentin Allegra de Fontaine, with her forming a special task force led by Special Commander Julius, played by Andy Buckley. After Julius failed to capture the beast, Val assigned Julius to work with disgraced Army General Richard Blaine and his associate Raul Bushman, aka Bushman. Blaine used to be a high-ranking general in the United States military, who would take the fall for both President Ross and Val when the United States Congress uncovered the Weapon X program. As a result, Blaine has become Val's exclusive dealer in her race to create an army of paranormal creatures, and the man he uses to capture and deliver these creatures is Bushman. Using his seemingly endless contacts, French is able to get this information related to Blaine, and the group discovers his private office in the United Nations building. After sending Elsa away to the X-Mansion for safety, Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, and Frenchie storm the United Nations building that evening to recover Man-Thing before he is sent away to Val. As the group gains entry to the building, Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night come face to face with Raul Bushman and are eviscerated by his awesome power. As the duo are defeated, it is revealed that Bushman is the avatar of the Egyptian god of war, Seth, voiced by Terrence Stamp, who Khonshu has a long history with. As it turns out, Khonshu was involved in a major historic event known as the Seth Incident, an incident where Seth encouraged a large number of Egyptians' gods and goddesses to kill non-believers in an attempt to prevent other gods from rising to power. The incident pitted the god Ra and his group against Seth and his group of gods, resulting in the death of many Egyptian gods and Khonshu nearly being killed by Seth. The incident ended when the Council of Gods intervened, sending powerhouses such as Zeus, his son Hercules, and Odin to end the fight. However, the battle left Khonshu with a mental block that prevented Mark and Jake from using his power to battle Bushman. In a last-ditch effort to rescue Man-Thing and prevent Bushman from killing Werewolf by Night, Steven finally accepts his role as Moon Knight and unlocks his own personalized Moon Knight transformation, Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight and Werewolf by Night team up to defeat Bushman, killing him in the process and rescuing Man-Thing before he is sent away. The ending sees Man-Thing begin figuring out what it means to be the Guardian of All Realities. Moon Knight returns to hunting down creatures of the night and also expresses an interest in joining Elsa's team of supernatural beings. The first post-credit scene shows Nightmare, played by Penn Badgley, in the Nightmare reality, reacting to Man-Thing becoming the new Guardian, and the second we see Moon Knight meet Spider-Man during one of his takedowns. Phase 6, Part 8 is X-Men Birth of the Scarlet Witch, and it takes place in Universe 2030. The project opens up on a primordial Earth, where we witness the Elder God Chthon, voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, facing off against the Elder God Oster, played by Viola Davis, and the first Sorcerer Supreme Agamotto, played by Pierce Brosnan. The trio locked in a battle that would determine if the world would survive or be destroyed and made anew. In the end, Astra and Agamotto would emerge victorious, and would trap Chthon's being in a book known as a Darkhold, preventing him from continuing in his destructive ways. In the present day, we watch as the Darkhold manipulates wildlife to transport the book to Kamartaj, where it falls into the hands of Wanda Maximoff, played by Elizabeth Olsen, the woman destined to become the Scarlet Witch. When Wanda gets the book, Chthon fills her head with lies about his power, and how he could be able to lead her to create a perfect utopia, fulfilling the dream of her father. Intrigued by this, Wanda begins studying and learning from Chthon, causing her to become corrupted and transformed into the Scarlet Witch, gaining incredible power, so much so that she is easily able to overpower her mentor. In spite of Chthon's instructions to head for Salem, Oregon, where Evanora Harkness created a shrine for Chthon, Wanda heads for Iowa in order to discuss the current state of affairs with her father. As Wanda travels to Iowa, her new powers cause her to exude darkness, leading a path of decay which has been noticed and is being widely reported on by news organizations around the world. This catches the attention of Charles Xavier, who is in Canada on a field trip, and informs Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, played by Joseph Quinn, that he and the X-Men need to look into what is happening. Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver, played by Evan Peters, catches wind of this and races to Iowa in order to warn his sister of the X-Men. As Pietro arrives in Iowa, we see Wanda is talking to her father, Eric Lensher, aka Magneto, played by Jason Isaacs, about Chthon and her ability to fulfill his dream. As she finishes explaining this, we see the X-Men arrive on the scene. The team includes Cyclops, Jean Grey, played by Abigail Cohen, Beast, Iceman, played by Asher Angel, Storm, played by Zoe Kravitz, Wolverine, played by Tom Hardy, Rogue, played by Elizabeth Gillies, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Domino. After talks with Wanda fail, the X-Men launch an all-out attack against Wanda, with Wanda being able to fend them off easily. After asking Magneto if he truly believes mutants and humans can coexist, Magneto answers no, causing Wanda to mutter the iconic phrase, "No more mutants." We then watch as the effects of the Golden Awakening are reversed, as Wanda brings Pietro and Eric with her as she makes her way towards Oregon. As she reaches Oregon, she is stopped by a military checkpoint that was waiting for her, prepared to risk their lives to stop her. Before they can attack, however, watch as the West Coast Avengers arrive in order to stop Wanda. The lineup of the West Coast Avengers includes their leader, Hawkeye, played by Jeremy Renner, Mockingbird, played by Linda Cardellini, Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, played by Stephen Yeun, White Vision, played by Paul Bettany, Wonder Man, played by Dev Patel, and War Machine, played by Don Cheadle. Wanda easily overpowers the group. That is, until Wonder Man shows off his true power by entering his ionic form. During the clash, Hawkeye attempts to land a finishing blow on Wanda, but as he shoots an arrow at her, Wanda sends it back in a fit of rage, piercing Hawkeye's heart and killing him instantly.
Did Hawkeye die? Oh no. A shame. I can't breathe on Hawkeye.
Magneto watches on as Mockingbird cradles Clint in her arms, as Wanda quickly flees the scene with Eric and Pietro. Once the trio reaches Salem and discover the old ancient shrine of Chthon, Wanda performs a ritual that results in Chthon being born anew, with a new body once again. Fortunately for Wanda, Chthon was manipulating her this entire time, and seeing that he is unable to fully control her, decides to make his new ideal world on his own. Chthon prepares to kill Eric and Pietro, as Eric tells Wanda that watching Hawkeye showed him that he was wrong about humanity and mutants. There will always be bad mutants, there will always be bad humans. But what matters is that the good mutants and the good people use their power to bring about change. Wanda, heeding her father's advice, unleashes her power and saves her family, and in the process, mutters the words, "Awaken the mutant powers." As the Golden Awakening happens once again. Wanda, along with Magneto and Quicksilver, fight Chthon, and using her chaos magic, Wanda manages to kill Chthon, preventing him from creating his ideal world. As the dust settles, Wanda, Eric, and Pietro faint from exhaustion, are recovered by Doctor Strange and Wonder Man, the duo bringing them to Kamartaj for rest. While the world might feel like it can enjoy a sense of tranquility with the older god Chthon being defeated, this was just a minor hint at the chaos to come. As merely 2 days after the unlikely trio conquered an elder god, the Earth was visited by Galactus. Phase 6.
That's my favorite project all time, Avengers and the Comedy Galactus. So I'm ready. Let's go.
Part 9 is Avengers: The Coming of Galactus and takes place in Universe 2030. The movie opens up as we see Skrull children being sent away to a distant planet, as the forces of Galactus have finally gathered for their conquest to begin. These forces include the Army of Super Skrulls, led by Elijah, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Annihilus and the Annihilation Wave, the High Evolutionary and his army of man-beasts, and the 3 Heralds of Galactus. The Silver Surfer, played by Pedro Pascal, Firelord, played by Mads Mikkelsen, and Airwalker, played by Milo Ventimiglia. Galactus, played by Liam Neeson, sends his forces to lay siege on Earth for the death of Terrax the Tamer, but instructs them to keep the casualties low, as his army's strength will be needed for the upcoming battle with the Living Tribunal. As the forces of Galactus arrive...
Is it Ohio's high emission earlier? Yeah.
On Earth, who watches the forces of good, hoping to protect the Earth,
Ohio's Super Skrull, yeah.
And defend New York from Galactus and his forces. These forces include Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland, Miles Morales, played by Dallas Dupree Young, Spider-Woman, played by Daisy Ridley, Luke Cage, played by Mike Coulter, and Jessica Jones, played by Kirsten Ritter. But the initial forces protecting Earth start off small. More and more heroes arrive to join in the effort, including Miss Marvel, played by Iman Vellani, Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, Wonder Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Citizens of Xandar, the Avengers, Black Panther, played by Michael B. Jordan and the Dora Milaje, S.H.I.E.L.D., Sword, Captain Marvel, played by Natalie Dormer, Photon, played by Tiana Paris, the Fantastic Four, healed members of the X-Men, such as Colossus, Jean, Wolverine, and Storm, and even Black Bolt, played by John Hamm, aiding from the moon. Throughout the invasion...
So, JTVideos, if you watched that video, I got a question for Avengers Not Comedy Grandson about why Moon Knight didn't in there. What it was, can't remember what it was. Hold on. Did I mess the characters? Oh wait. No, it isn't. Why Nemo didn't, so, why Nemo didn't fight about the comedy answers, and Moon Knight and Nemo and Reels. Can't remember what the last time, but that's what I think is. I don't know. So, JTVideos, if you watch that, just tell me why when Nemo and Moon Knight was on there, but...
We have many important character interactions, such as Peter unleashing the symbiote to give himself the iconic black suit in order to increase his strength, and Crystal, played by Millie Bobby Brown, meeting Miss Marvel for the first time. We also have many important battles that foster important character growth, such as Adam Warlock, Rocket, and Bug defeating the High Evolutionary and finally getting closure on why they were created. Captain Marvel, Photon, and Miss Marvel defeating Elijah in honor of the Blue Marvel. Johnny Storm, played by Andrew Garfield, and The Thing, voiced by Jason Sudeikis, fighting an island, getting revenge for what happened in the Negative Zone. Silver Surfer defeating Firelord, and Wonder Man defeating Airwalker. As all of this is going down, Galactus slowly approaches and the true battle begins. The smartest man alive, Reed Richards, played by Keanu Reeves, versus one of the most destructive forces in the universe, Galactus. Following the events of the Warning of the Silver Surfer, Reed has worked tirelessly to create 3 inventions that he hopes would deter Galactus, without needing Johnny to sacrifice himself for the use of the ultimate nullifier. The first is a giant electromagnetic pulsator, which Reed hopes will shock Galactus and lead him to retreat. The weapon is shown to have little effect on the massive Celestial, causing Reed to use his second invention. The invention is based off of Ulysses Claw's sonic converter, which will send a powerful blast of sonic waves at Galactus, which Reed theorizes will do just enough damage to scare Galactus off. While the sonic converter does manage to destroy Peter's symbiote, it does little to slow down Galactus. In a last-ditch effort, Reed calls the Fantastic Four back to the Baxter Building and unleashes his Cosmic Torpedo, a vibranium-laced missile which will cause great damage to a being of cosmic energy. With Johnny's life on the line, Reed launches the rocket, and the family watches as it careens towards Galactus, making impact head-on. But, as the dust clears, Galactus stands tall, suffering little to no harm. And what happens next can only be properly told through writing the actual scene. So, my friends, here's the actual climactic ending of the coming of Galactus. Something that many have theorized on, and one that I am excited for you all to see.
The perfect SPF to wear under makeup. New Nivea Sun 2-in-1 Primer, SPF 50.
Already saw the Avengers are gonna come and go at this, and I remember I saw the end of the scene. It was really sad, but I'll show you a clear review. You see. I'm not spoiling.
What's it like having Sky TV? Well, it's
pretty extraordinary.
Feel something extraordinary. New Sky Essential TV. Sky, believe in better.
The Fantastic Four look on the monitor, shocked, as all three of Reed's inventions, made to thwart the approaching Galactus, have failed. Ben looks to the ground with a frown on his face, as tears swell in Crystal and Sue's eyes. Johnny looks at Reed, who begins slamming his fist on his computer, screaming at it. Suddenly, Reed stops and falls to his knees. The room is silent. Johnny, I'm sorry. I failed. I couldn't think of a way to stop. Reed, it's okay. I know what I have to do. You tried your best, but we all knew this was the only way. Reed stands up, tears rolling down his eyes as he places his hands on Johnny's shoulders. I failed you, Johnny. I failed. Johnny turns to look at his sister, his girlfriend, and the man he always viewed as an older brother, and sighs. Reed, guys, I couldn't live with myself if I let you all perish. Above all else, I'm glad to be the one to end this. I'm grateful to have been a part of this family. Thanks for everything. I love you guys. Johnny breaks away, grabs the ultimate nullifier, and runs out of the Baxter building as Sue falls to her knees in anguish. Outside, we see a visibly exhausted Peter and Miles team up to take down a Skrull. Peter offers Miles praise for his skills, as the duo suddenly notice Johnny run out of the building. Peter looks up panting. Johnny, hey, what's going on? Oh, hey Pete. I don't have much time, but I just wanted to say, thanks for being my best friend. I'm gonna miss you. Peter stands stunned. The memories of him holding Iron Man fall into snap, and the sense of Matt getting killed at the hands of Mr. Fear hits him. But before he can say anything, we hear Johnny's scream flame on as he begins his ascension towards Galactus. Peter stops and quickly looks at his surroundings, surveying the area and calculating angles and probabilities, and begins formulating a plan. As all this is going on, Miles pleads with Peter. Hey dude, what's going on? What are you doing? What's Johnny going to do? Peter quickly turns around and puts his hands on Miles' shoulder. Miles, I need you to be quiet and listen to me for just a minute here, okay? Miles stops abruptly as Peter continues. You are one of the strongest kids I know, and your dad would be so unbelievably proud of you if you were here right now. I want you to know something, Miles. Something my uncle told me a long time ago. Something I thought I understood, but I never really did. But I'm starting to think maybe now I get it. You're starting to scare me, man. What's going on? Miles, with great power comes great responsibility. I want you to remember that. And also remember, I'll always be with you till the end of the line. Peter releases Miles and shoots 2 webs and begins gaining momentum, using the webs as a makeshift slingshot as Miles yells, Peter, thanks for the lecture and all, but what's going on? What are you doing? Peter shoots himself into the sky, using the momentum from the webs. Using all his strength, shoots a final web at Johnny's legs, causing his flame to burn out. As Johnny falls to the ground, Peter webs away the ultimate nullifier as Johnny screams, Peter, what are you doing? Sorry, Johnny. Thanks for always being there for me. Johnny falls to the ground as Peter uses his momentum in a tall building nearby, giving himself one final boost. With the ultimate nullifier in hand, he slings himself directly towards Galactus. As Peter heads towards Galactus, we hear My Way by Frank Sinatra in the background as Peter finds himself in some sort of alternate reality, the kind of reality that feels like a dream. Peter looks around as three figures approach him. Good luck, kid. Saving the world all by yourself. I always knew you had it in you. Peter, you got this. The entire world is counting on you. You can do it. Look at the man you have become, Peter. My nephew, the one who saved the world. What a story. I missed you all so much. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you guys, and you guys had to die. It should have been me. Kid, it was never meant to be you. The world needed you. The world needs you now more than ever, Peter. You're the man who the world needs now, and the past is in the past. But right now, only you can save the day. Thanks, but when I'm done, can I see you guys again? Of course. We'll be right here waiting for you. So go on and do it. You got this, Peter. Like I said, I'm with you till the end of the line. Would you look at that, Peter? You have a great responsibility and you're using your power to fulfill it. I'm so proud of you. Peter smiles as we cut back to him flying towards Galactus, who towers over him and yells, "What is this? A puny solo act seeking to bring down the World Eater? Is this Terra's last pathetic attempt to beg for forgiveness?" Peter looks up, holds the ultimate nullifier in his hand, presses a button as a huge explosion and flash of light in space above New York. In the end, Johnny flies up to recover the body of his friend, Peter Parker, the man who lived a double life as Spider-Man and who sacrificed himself to save the world.
OK， Tony Stark 的小小多。Man, my dog did a new P-Burger. We're done. That's it.
The power of the ultimate nullifier leaving Galactus nearly dead, but does not kill him, as he is still needed for the universe to survive. In his weakened state, Galactus calls for his forces to retreat, ending his aspirations to overthrow the living tribunal.
So I didn't mean to say the Galactus, but
Earth to survive another day. While the memorials for all those who were lost occur, the Fantastic Four receive a surprise visit from Reed Richards, played by Yoan Gruffield of Universe 10005, who comes to tell the group that he is retiring from the position as head of the Council of Reeds, would like our Reed Richards to become their new leader. Reed agrees on one condition, a condition to which Universe 10005 Reed agrees to. The condition would become clear as we see our Fantastic Four, along with Ben Grimm's new wife, Alicia Masters, prepare to head to their new life in the Council of Reeds.
Hello, mate. Fancy a couple chairs for the gaff?
Oh, well, yeah. That'll be awesome.
to give it done with those YouTube.
As our Fantastic Four team moves out, a new team moves in. That team being the team of Universe 801963, played by William Jackson Harper, Chloe Feynman, Austin Butler, and Andy Samberg, as they are given a new home in our universe. Johnny ends things with Crystal, and the team says goodbye, with retelling the Universe 801963 Fantastic Four team that they are now in charge of protecting the Earth. The last shot of the project takes place a few months after Galactus was defeated and shows Miles standing with Luke Cage as they look out on a new memorial built by the city of New York entitled the New York Hero Monument, featuring statues of the heroes who placed their lives on the line to protect it. Iron Man, Daredevil, and Spider-Man. Miles gets teary-eyed as Luke pats him on the back, the last words of the movie being one kind message from Luke to Miles. I know it's hard, kid, but he'll always be with us, and it's our job to live in his memories. These words would end Saga 2 of Rebooted MCU.
Yes.
The Galaxy and Mutant Saga has ended. And that is Phase 6. I'm very glad I didn't write these full scripts because that would have been exhausting, but I hoped you all enjoyed regardless. Anyways, let's talk about Saga 3, which will cover phases 7,
Saga
8,
3.
and 9.
Yeah, we're gonna start out with a reaction to Saga 3 with PS7 Part 8 and 9. So, we think of that video, JTVideos represent MCU said Saga 2 final shares, and, I can't believe I lost to characters like Hawkeye and Spider-Man, and after that, before name, I was lost like Tony Stark, Ballon Hank Pym, Ant-Man, I forgot that, and Daredevil, and then Thor, was happening. Hopefully, this is next year, and Captain Marvel's taking a vision. I'm sure he died. Yeah, he was dying, and Captain Marvel taking a vision. Yeah, I missed him. Yeah, so can we go reaction to Saga 3 and PS7, 8 and 9. But we're not going to be on next week or next month, but I'll tell you when it's going to be, but it's going to be on June, but okay. So I'll see you next video, which will be, I'm going to shop on Friday. I'll show you where I got new pickup. So hope you enjoy. If you mention on thumbs up, don't subscribe, put notification on, and so I'll see you on the Friday. So see you on the Friday. I'll see you next time. Bye.